This Cindy Bear situation just got worse with Jar, and like the fact there are so many people coming out and trying to act like it's not a big deal for a minor and adult to like engage in some type of NSFW correspondence with each other is just straight up bonkers. If you're an adult and you can't go a single day in your life without engaging in some type of triple X like correspondence, whatever, for your own gratification, so you can have a good day or like so you can have some fun, you're probably a sex pest and you shouldn't be around kids, like, period. There's adult websites and communities for you to engage in that degeneracy, which realistically, you should only do that stuff with someone you're close to, not some random strangers, but whatever. Like, be a degenerate and talk fetishes with your partner or someone you're in a relationship, not a kid you knowingly know the age of. Hello, my lovelies, your Miss Emmy's Nerd here, and welcome to my part 2 of the ACC has a grooming problem. Wow, I didn't expect this video to get 5K views. Like, I'm just used to uploading, like, my videos into the void and, like, barely getting any attention on my corner of the internet, so, thanks for that. So, thanks for all the subscribers that were coming in. We're almost at 17K, so if I can get, like, I don't know, like 30 more of you, I should be at 17K, but, if you're going to subscribe to me, don't expect more videos like this. This is going to be the last art commentary drama, like, video I ever, like, make. I just want to, like, do what this channel, like, started out as, just a way for me to share my love of things I'm, like, hyperfixating or just passionate about, so, yeah, my next video is going to be covering how there's this almost evangelical, like, puritanical, like, mentality over fictional characters I just find fucking ridiculous. So if you're interested in that, subscribe. Okay, so moving forward, this video is going to be pretty much unscripted. I just have bullet points I have written down on a scrap piece of paper. Oh yeah, and if this audio sounds different from my previous videos, because I'm literally just recording this on my iPad and not using my phone, because, you know, I make videos on my tablets and stuff. I don't own a PC, but, yeah, whatever. Alright, getting right to it. Yes, I did see the updates regarding the Cindy Bear 03 drama, especially with the involvement of Just the Robot throwing his hat in the ring. Jar, how are you in that video? Good job, Kumo, for uploading it before Jar did. How in that video are you going to chastise people for not doing their research and spreading more misinformation when you didn't do any research on the situation yourself when you were defending Cindy? As I pointed out in my previous video, the hypocrisy amongst these content creators not practicing the virtues that they preach. You can't be, like, saying shit when you don't do it yourself, especially when you're at that size. When it comes to subscribers, you have these people that trust you, and it's like, no, that's not it, chief. And, like, I don't care for the excuses. Oh, well, I just need to get this video out by the time it's, like, still a hot topic. Oh, I have editors. I have people that do the research for me. If you do not have the integrity and the work ethic to be a drama content creator, don't be a drama content creator. I'm not here to regurgitate information that's being brought out by other videos. I will have, like, decently informed ones, including the recent call between Kumo and Cindy with Romantic Goblin in the pin comment. What I want to talk about is how, with Justin Robot's involvement, more people are just, like, speaking out about how it's not a big deal for some random-ass adult who encounters a random-ass child on the internet having some form of sexual correspondence between the two of them. Like, it's really disturbing how many people just don't see it as remotely a big deal that a child and an adult can just meet each other on the internet and just casually talk about anything sexual. And they try coming up with all sorts of loopholes for why it's okay for minors and adults to engage in these type of, like, sexual correspondence, whether it's role plays, art exchange, or just having conversations about fetishes and, like, fingering and shit like that. It's like I'm gonna take some of these examples from Just a Robot's video. What I find it funny how, Jar, you were defending Cindy, trying to downplay, like, it wasn't a big deal, and try to act like the entire concept of adults and children having sexual conversations over the internet is not a big deal, when you made how many videos attacking and going after the people who liked that Netflix film Cuties? The math ain't mathing. Especially when you took a shot at every loophole those people like came up with to try to say that it's okay to find Cuties an enjoyable film. You went after every fucking loophole and still called those people creeps. Alright, so if you want to see Just a Robot's video, he did private it, but good job Kumo for uploading it before he did. I'll link it, but in that video, Jar said, like, children see risque stuff all the time, and he used examples like Naruto's Sexy Jutsu or the I Like Big Butts song playing in the Shark Tale movie. Yeah, Jar, you and I are around the same age. I also grew up watching Naruto, and the Shark Tales movie came out when I was in elementary school. Butts were very much a gag when it comes to kids' entertainment in the late 90s, early 2000s. Look at Cow and Chicken. They're literally eating hog ass. And let's not pretend that a lot of anime, such as Naruto, were clearly made towards more of a teenage demographic, was either censored or watered down and put in time slots that were easier accessible to smaller kids, because animation is just for kids. My point being, just because a kid will see butts or they will see stuff like Naruto's Sexy Jutsu, that does not make it okay or remotely acceptable for an adult to send any type of softcore, if you want to call it that, to a child. It's not okay. It's still wrong, and it's setting up the child for them to be normalized to getting groomed. I said it in my previous video. I will say it again. If a child is normalized with the concept of it's okay to speak sexual or have sexual conversations, role plays, art exchanges, whatever with a fucking adult, just because the adult that normalized them didn't groom them for the purpose of sexually abusing them, that doesn't mean the next adult that child talks to that has been normalized to this stuff is going to walk away unscathed by the new adult. You would have figured that a content creator that talked about predators and exposing predators would understand that concept, but I guess he was just too fixated on getting his joystick oiled. Well, you don't see nipples, vag, or ween, so it's not a big deal. It's just softcore. You're a grown-ass adult. You do not need to be sending minors that type of stuff. It doesn't matter if you're drawing a picture of your OC getting fingered by a character and you can't see anything because his hand is under her skirt. Like, no, absolutely. There is no context to make that acceptable for you to do. You're still an adult, that is still a child, and you're sending them something that is a sex act. No matter how graphic or not graphic it is, you're still sending a child depictions of a sex act. Well, it was normalized to me when I was a kid, so I don't see a big deal as an adult for me to do that with kids. Merriam-Webster defines normalize as to make something conform to or reduce something to a norm or standard. Dictionary.com has it as to cause something previously considered abnormal or unacceptable to be treated as normal. If something had to be normalized to you, then maybe it was unacceptable and abnormal to begin with, and just because you see it as the norm as an adult, that doesn't mean you need to normalize it for other kids. So I don't know what the fuck, you can have some fun. And the last three things I see floating around, I'm going to clump them together because they deserve the same response. Well, the minor was sending NSFW first and was constantly bugging the adult to get their attention. Well, it's not easy for me to make friends my own age. It didn't start off like this. I just got really comfortable with the child. Firstly, nice victim blaming, and oh wow, it's almost as if you are the adult, and as the adult, you are obligated to be responsible and shut that shit show down instead of giving in and contributing to it. Oh wow. If you are a content creator and you have a minor in your fan base that's reaching out to you, trying to get your attention, as far as going as to making NSFW gifts for you, it is your responsibility to shut that down, put up boundaries about how that's inappropriate, and no, you're not going to engage with them because they're a child. And it doesn't matter if you were already friends with that kid and you didn't intend to start off with it being like that. You still are the adult. It is your fucking responsibility. It doesn't matter if the child was initiating that type of stuff or you started initiating it because you got comfortable with them. It is still your responsibility as an adult to not do that shit with kids. And as for the whole, it's hard for you to make friends your own age, which is why you're more comfortable socializing with minors. That sounds like a you problem. You need to work out in therapy. And this is coming from somebody that had absolutely zero friends during their crucial social developmental years or whatever the hell it's called during adolescence. I had no fucking friends. And I mean, I had no fucking friends. I was constantly bullied. Earlier school years, I was bullied for not having traditional girly interests because I was more of a tomboy. I liked dragons and video games. I was called a freak, a weirdo. I was treated like a diseased lesbian, even called homophobic slurs by certain kids. Also, it's not hard to miss that I'm fat due to childhood issues of getting my ass beat or having mental and emotional abuse, being told you're hurting my feelings or you're so ungrateful that I cooked for you like over food when I didn't clean my plate because of my undiagnosed sensory processing issues that just made me feel sick when it comes to certain textures of food. Or I was literally at the table crying with an extreme bellyache, begging to be let go because I was full. They didn't believe me, and it was met with more threats of getting my ass beat if I didn't continue eating. So not only did that lead to me gaining weight, but also lead to me getting some type of binge eating disorder that I didn't recognize until I was 25. For anyone who wants to ask, yes, I'm fine. I'm working on healing my relationship with food, and I've been losing weight. So far, I lost 15 pounds, and I'm still going. If I wasn't being bullied and called the homophobic D word that rhymes with bike for not having traditional girly interests, I was constantly bullied and treated like shit for being fat. Yeah, I literally had no friends up to late childhood, all throughout my teens. But guess what? As an adult in my mid-20s, I started to socially blossom and I found friends, a whole circle of friends around my age group. The youngest person I'm friends with recently turned 25 and the oldest person I'm friends with is 36. It is not that hard to be mindful of who you befriend when it comes to their age. Don't be so desperate for companionship or what's the girl version of it? A schlicking or a jerkin buddy, whatever the fuck. You get the idea. Don't be that hard out for companionship. You're not going to discriminate based on age. When it comes to you needing some type of sexual release, it's probably a good idea to be discriminatory based on age. Oh, and this last one from Jar's video that I found really fucking stupid. If you don't have any labels that label your content as being NSFW, then you're just as bad as Cindy. Look, I get it. In the past 15 years, at some point in time, parents collectively just stopped educating their kids on what content is or is not okay or remotely appropriate for them to consume. And parents collectively has stopped monitoring what their kids do on the internet, especially when their kid is a content creator. Look at the animation meme community. Considering during its heyday, a lot of sexual NSFW animation memes were made by minors and labeled as 13 plus or 16 plus, which in all honesty, looking back on it, that seems to have normalized hypersexuality with kids and further normalized degenerate behavior between adults and children since adults took advantage of that. But in regards to labels, if a child has already been normalized to NSFW content, labels are not going to do anything. And there are adults who absolutely do not remotely interact with kids. They're just absent-minded when it comes to putting labels on their stuff. And not to mention, you have kids that will lie about their age or even steal their parents' ID for an ID check to access certain NSFW adult spaces on Discord or websites like Ink Bunny. But yeah, even if a child is lying about their age and stealing their parents' ID so they can look at hardcore furry stuff, that still doesn't justify that it's not a big deal that a child and an adult sexually correspond with each other. I mean, I know I'm responsible when it comes to labeling my stuff. Like my Johnny the Homicidal Maniac comic review, I have a little yellow triangle that says this video is not for kids. I even have a warning in the beginning of the video, but guess what? If a kid wants to watch it, they're gonna watch it. It's really disturbing how the Cindy Bear and Just a Robot situation in the drama is just having so many people come out with whatever loopholes they can think of to justify a child and an adult sexually corresponding. You're normalizing degenerate behavior so the adult can get away scot-free when they are preying on or grooming a child. Even if it's unintentional, Kumo put it best in I'll link the call below if you want to go listen to it. When he calls Cindy an opportunity offender, to where it's Cindy doesn't pick people for their age, gender, sexuality, whatever. If they feel like someone would be down with their fetish, then Cindy is going to be very open and jump the gun into taking advantage of it for their own fun or whatever. And to give a definition, an opportunity offender is someone who commits a crime when they see an opportunity to do so without any prior planning. Crimes of opportunity are often considered less serious than premeditated crimes. Examples of crimes of opportunity include vandalism, assault, battery, and burglary. Equal opportunity offenders, there's not a moment of hesitation when they just like do like offensive stuff. Like for Cindy's situation, let's just say grooming, even though the grooming was not premeditated and she had like no intentions of grooming and into a relationship for sexual abuse or whatever, she still groomed a child. There is no coming back for Cindy, and there's sure as hell no coming back for Jar, because why the fuck were you defending Cindy? But I mean, you kind of said your motive in Chud's logic stream. Speaking of Jar, I have a bone to pick with him when it comes to him saying this in his shit-ass video.
Oh no, she said she would kill Jack because it was accusing her of SA, because it rescinded its consent, which is something you can't do. Kinda seems weird that Jack rescinded his consent at the absolute perfect time. Sorry, but if you give me or anyone consent, you can't just take it away months later. You can give your consent when something is happening or about to happen, but not months after the fact.
I love how smug Jar was, like, wrongfully giving information about the concept of consent. Yes, you can rescind your consent because no one is entitled to use your body for their own gratification. And a lot of people don't seem to understand this. There are people that will put up with inappropriate touching or just laying there and allowing somebody to do what they want to their body because they're afraid to speak up and say no. Coerced consent is a thing, whether it's mentally or emotionally abusing or blackmailing somebody into feeling like they're a piece of shit if they don't allow somebody to use their body. Quick clarification, I'm not accusing Cindy of doing any of this to Jack. This is just general education because the concept of consent should not be flippant as it is. It's very scary how flippant the meaning of consent is with some people. If you are touching people inappropriately and they have voiced that they don't like it, which Jack has done with Cindy, but Cindy just kept doing it, there's a word for that, and the initials are SA. And yes, that same concept does apply to people who are in a relationship, whether it's just dating, they're going steady, or they're married. You can still SA your partner. Like, just because you're in a relationship, that doesn't give you entitled ownership over their body for your own gratification. Just because you're in a relationship or you're married, that is not guaranteed sex whenever you want it. If your partner is not in the mood for it, you're gonna have to suck it up and like get acquainted with Rosie Palm and her 5 sisters or whatever vibrating friend you can purchase off of Amazon. Keep in mind, this is coming from somebody that was like a toxic anti-feminist in their late teens. Like when third wave feminists brought up how American society is pretty much a grape culture, yeah, like it's not as bad as what's happening in the Middle East or other third world countries where women have absolutely no bodily autonomy for themselves. But that doesn't mean women in America or other first world countries similar to America are not struggling with maintaining the right to their own bodily autonomy and bodily privacy. That doesn't mean that there aren't men in the US and other first world countries that are arguing that women and femme-presenting people should not have bodily autonomy because they're gross. The concept of consent is something that a lot of people seem to be ignorant about, and that just really should not be the case. Like, no means no, and if someone changes their mind when you're about to do the do, they're allowed to do that, and you just need to suck it up and get over it. Women and femme-presenting people should not have to feel afraid to, like, speak up when they just don't want it, but unfortunately, like, that's just how they're treated. Especially in regards to relationships, they're treated as if they are obligated to give it up whenever the man wants it. It needs to be said and it needs to be normalized. If you do not want anything to do with that type of stuff, whether it's with your friend or with your partner, you are allowed to say no. If they continue doing it, or worse, they hold you down and force you so they can get their own gratification, you need to get the fuck away from that person, and depending on how severity is, you need to, like, call the cop. Alright, so with all that being said, I wasn't trying to say Jar is, well, you know, I'm not trying to paint him out as being that. I'm just gonna give him, like, the only benefit of doubt I'm willing to give him. That was probably just a very shitty take and him just, like, being a dumbass, but, a shit take is still a shit take, and I just wanted to educate that consent is something that should not be as flippantly, like, dismissed as it is, and it's just, yeah, whatever. So, yeah, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and thanks for the hate comments I know I'm going to get, because this video was all about very unpopular opinions when it comes to it should not be normalized for adults to engage in sexual correspondence with kids, and I'm pretty sure my views on consent are going to be very unpopular. But yeah, thanks for the algorithm boost anyway. So if you're going to subscribe to the channel, don't if you're expecting more videos like this. This is going to be my last art commentary drama video I'm ever going to make. From here on out, I'm just going to like make videos surrounding fandom. Like my next video is going to be tackling like puritanical views that is bleeding into like puritanical culture that's bleeding into fandom in regards to liking villain characters. You saw the thumbnail at the beginning of the video. And I have a book review plan. I'm currently reading Far Cry Absolution, so that will probably be my first book review of 2025 because like I just have shit going on and the holidays are coming up, so I'm not gonna be too busy to like get that video out by the end of this year. So yeah, subscribe for that if you want. Okay, later, bye.